What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Big Man on Campus NCAA Hoops Hour. It is the Big Man on Campus. We're here on a Wednesday, January 22nd, 2020. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. A lot to get to tonight. Got some games to chat about. Got some games to tell you maybe why you should avoid. We're just kind of talking basketball, taking some questions, trying to help you out, trying to help you find some success on the card. I know last night it wasn't a great night. It wasn't a good night for me. I had a loser with the Purdue Boilermakers. Ended up being my game last night. And, as the day went on, I kind of got the feeling that I feel like everyone had kind of sniffed out and thought, oh, that's got to be a trap. Purdue's the play. But the issue for Purdue continues to be the fact that they just can't shoot the ball real well, and it's continuing to be a problem. I kind of went into the game thinking that it'd be a lower scoring game. Purdue would kind of do what they always do at home, and it seemed like the public flushed it out pretty quickly, and I kind of was feeling pretty irritated by the end of the night. But it is what it is. A couple of games that we talked about on this show. I talked to you guys about Florida LSU. I mean, LSU is not a group that I just feel real comfortable about laying points with. And that one was one that, if you had Florida, it was a lucky play. But, hey, again, there's a 40-minute game. You got to play 40 minutes. And, Florida played 40 minutes and was able to get a cover. So ended up working out for them. What else did we talk about here? I've definitely been kind of surprised with Mississippi's play this year. They continue to be very poor. I don't know what's going on down at Ole Miss. Kermit Davis just hasn't gotten that group to respond real well. Wyoming, they get inside the number. I think we talked about Villanova. I mentioned I kind of like Butler there. Butler's kind of struggling right now as well. Obviously, had the big fight last night in the Kansas State game. But let's focus on tonight's action and see if we can find anything just to maybe educate you with. And again, if you have questions, feel free to send those in. Jack, what's up? Eric, Nick, Drew, Steve, JP, what's up? Jape, is that your, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. If I am, I'm apologizing. Do I have interest in Duquesne tonight? I haven't been much involved with the Dukes. I haven't really kind of bought in. Lot of people talking about Duquesne here. And look, I think from a spot perspective, a lot of people like Rhode Island. A group that has kind of been in the forefront the last couple of years with Hurley at the helm. They're obviously at home here. You're not going to find me betting a ton of road teams. I just don't really do it. One thing about Rhode Island, though, you're finding another team here that can't shoot the basketball. They're not real good offensively. And Duquesne has been really impressive this year. You've got to find some love for this group. Keith Dambrot's done a great job with this group. They're the number one three-point shooting team in the Atlantic 10 Conference. This is just a bad offense, Rhode Island. I guess I'm kind of just looking at it and saying, well, I guess, obviously you want to take a home team and you want to take a team that you know about. But I think Duquesne just continues to kind of undervalued in the market. Kind of remind you a little bit of the DePaul Blue Demons. They continue to be kind of undervalued. People don't want to back Duquesne. You look at all the money coming in on Rhode Island, yet their number opened for it's down to 3.5. So yeah, I think Duquesne's a continued look. I don't think the market and bettors quite understand that Duquesne's a pretty good basketball team. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, they've really seemed to answer the call anytime it's been asked of them. Sincere Carey's been really good for them. Marcus Weathers, who came over from Miami of Ohio, he's been good for them. Michael Hughes, who played at Akron. Keith Dambrot has really basically just went to his old conference when he was there at Akron and just basically brought a lot of those players from that conference to Duquesne. And it's seemingly worked out for him. So, yeah, I think Duquesne, they're getting nice play out of the freshman, Marco Austin. And I mentioned Sincere Carey, who, has really been terrific for them. So, yeah, I think I think Duquesne continues to be undervalued. If you're going to give me 3.5 with them, I don't disagree with you. Davidson, I have no interest in them. St. Louis, I don't know. I mean, the under looks pretty good in that game. Both those teams struggle to score. I don't trust St. Louis. They don't shoot free throws well. If you don't make free throws in basketball, I'm not betting. I'm not betting on you. All right, let me get into some games that I kind of just looked over and I find interesting tonight. Again, I do have a play tonight over at my website, bmocwins.com. On a nice run right now, looking to add to it. And I'm playing a total tonight, surprisingly enough. I don't play a lot of totals, but when I do, I really like it. So if you want to join me, you want to get on board for a month, see what we're doing, I will make this clear right now, okay, for anyone that's curious. During the NCAA tournament, the NIT, all of the information that I put out will be on that website. I'm not giving anything out for free. If you want to join me, you're welcome to. I'm going to basically do it very simply. I'm going to keep doing it like I'm doing, providing my favorite plays of the day. But what I'm also going to do is create a guide for the NCAA tournament. I'm going to break down every game. I'm going to give an opinion on every game, why it's a bad spot, why it's a good spot, some help with some of these teams. That is where I'm doing it. I'm not going to be on YouTube. I'm making that very clear right now. So I'm going to have kind of a special March Madness thing going. So, if you want to come around and keep that in the back of your head, just remember that. All right. Xavier, Georgetown, early game tonight. See a lot of people migrating towards X here. And I'm starting to get to the feeling that X is a lot like Virginia. They're a lot like Purdue. They're a lot like teams that you expect to play well, and they never really play well. I'm starting to get the feeling that with Xavier that they don't really quite know what works right now. I'm reading some of the comments and I'm listening to Travis Steele's press conferences, and he's talking about, there's big changes coming and we're going to try. He basically said yesterday that their starting five is going to be the 5 players that exude the Xavier way the most, whatever that means. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now with Xavier, and I wonder about the confidence that Travis Steele has in this group. I feel like for wide parts of the season, they've not played up to their caliber. I think they're a good defensive team. And I feel like if Xavier can't respond tonight, I'm not quite sure when they respond. This is a Xavier team that has lost 3 in a row. They've been off for a week, though. They've been able to lick their wounds. They've been able to rejuvenate themselves a little bit. They've been able to figure out some of the issues that they're having. But until they put some consistency together, it's hard for me to lay 2 buckets with them. Georgetown is continued to, even though they're playing 6 guys most of the game, they still continue to play decently. If you gave me a free bet on this game, I would probably take Xavier, but I would invest like hard-earned money on them. Until I think I see some consistency with X, I'm just not real interested in them. And some of the concerning comments coming out of Cincinnati don't exactly spread a lot of confidence to me. I want a coach to basically say, we believe in this group. They're continuing to work. They're continuing to build. We're continuing to work together. The bench just kind of went silent. No one's really performed on that end. They continue to really struggle shooting the ball. They remind me a lot of Purdue, frankly. They're really similar to Purdue. They defend pretty well. They're generally good at home, and they can't shoot. And I've just kind of grown sick of betting on teams that can't shoot to cover numbers. I mean, how many times are we going to say that Xavier's back and they aren't? And you look at every step-up game this year, really outside of Cincinnati, which is a rivalry game, you kind of throw out everything, they've not been able to handle business. You look at against Florida, scored 65, lost to Wake Forest, gave up, lost to Villanova, scored 62 points in that game. I actually had them in that game and they covered, but, not a good performance. Lost to Seton Hall, gave up 83, lost by 12. Defensively, what happened to this team? They've given up 83, 77, and 85 the last 3 games. Again, though, if you're going to play well, this is the spot. So I can understand why people were taking Xavier, but it comes across a little squarish to me. You're just kind of expecting something to happen when nothing has really happened. So that would kind of be my thoughts on Xavier, to be real honest with you guys. Um, what's up, Sam's Picks? Jesuit, what's up? Jordan Parnes. It's Jordan Parnes saying Najee Marshall against the world. Yeah, but that's not exactly good. I mean, he's played really well for them, but you can't win a game with just one guy, and you know that. Is this a good buy low spot on UNC? Yeah, I'm not going to bet on them. I mean, they're another group. I mean, it seems like a buy on spot. They're going to play well. They don't. They shouldn't be on anybody's card. They're just not real interesting. They're just not real interesting to me right now. Syracuse Notre Dame's interesting. There's a lot of 4-point numbers out there tonight. A lot of them. And there's a lot of question marks on a lot of these 4-point favorites. I don't like betting against Notre Dame. I just like the fundamental way they play. Don't have much on that one. Penn State, Michigan. Still no Isaiah Livers for Michigan. Until he comes back, I have no real interest in them. And for whatever reason, Juwan Howard just will not double in the post. And they continue to lose games because of it. And that's why for me with Juwan, like I love the guy. I think he's a great recruiter. I think he's going to get kids to come to Michigan that normally wouldn't come to Michigan under John Beilein, like Josh Christopher, who he's in the running to get, one of the best players in the country coming out. But I mean, some of the X and O stuff is odd to me. Like you continue to not double when you know that bigs kill you. If I'm Penn State tonight, you need Mike Watkins to play well. Mike Watkins was benched a couple games ago. He comes back against against Ohio State. They put up 90. He actually has a game that I think he's just kind of finding himself again. He played 17 minutes, had 9 points. He had a couple rebounds. He was a force. He was an important piece to them winning. The problem that I think Penn State may have is I don't know if they can exactly they don't have that big that I think a lot of other teams have. They don't have a Garza or a Wesson or a Teskey or a guy that can grab the ball and go get a bucket. They don't have a Kofi Coburn. So I think it's an okay matchup for Michigan and from that standpoint, and it is a road game, and we know that road games are very tough in the Big Ten, but I don't know. I just don't feel real comfortable with Michigan until they get Livers back. Their offense seems stagnant, but they play different in the Chrysler Center. St. Bonaventure, Dayton. Talked about this game. Until Osun Osuni is in there for St. Bonnie, I can't bet them. Do I think this is a lot of points? Yeah. I kind of agree with my good friend Jay Cryer on Twitter. He mentioned the over here. I don't disagree. Dayton's the best half-court offense in the country to me. And I don't know who guards Obi Toppin here. 140, not a bad number. I feel like Dayton, I mean, any night they could push 90, and Bonnie gave up 91 to VCU the other night. So, I feel like if you get if you can get St. Bonaventure to hit 60, I think this game finds its way over the total. It seems like to me like an 82-65 type of game, something like that. I'm just kind of going down the card. I'm not hitting every game. Arkansas, Mississippi State. I've been a backer of buying into Mississippi State. If there was a 4-point favorite that I was interested in tonight, it would be the Bulldogs here. I think this is a good kind of – I think people kind of saw that the other night Kentucky kind of took advantage of Arkansas's kind of letting off the gas a little bit. Now you got to go on the road. I think Arkansas is a little fraudulent as far as some of their numbers. They have no answer down low for Reggie Perry. Absolutely none. If I'm Ben Howland tonight and I'm the guards from Mississippi State, I attack the paint. I get Perry and Woodard involved, Abdul Ado. Arkansas might have 40 rebounds tonight. They're going to crash, or Mississippi State might have 40 rebounds tonight. I expect plenty of offensive rebounds for the number one rebounding team on the offensive glass in the country. I don't know if they have an answer for Arkansas. Does Arkansas down low? There's nobody here that I see that can guard anyone down low against Mississippi State. This could get ugly. And this is the first, to me, 2-game losing streak that I think Arkansas will have. Mississippi State getting healthy. Nick Witherspoon's seemingly back. Tyson Carter's starting to find a shot again. So I think they're worth a look here. If I had to play a favorite here tonight. And they're at home, which helps. Furman might score 90 tonight against Samford. This Samford defense is horrible. They're really bad. I mean, it seems like every night this group's giving up 85, 90 points. And they have been. I mean, you give up 105 to the Moccasins of Chattanooga. You give up 86 to 88 to East Tennessee State. You give up 90 the other night to Mercer. And now you get, arguably the best offense in this conference. In my opinion, the best offense in this conference. So, I mean, Samford continues to struggle. This looks to be an over to me. I didn't bet this game, but I have some interest here. I mean, Samford's going to push pace, which is good. The problem that I have with Samford and betting overs is like they love the three. I mean, love it. I mean, they shoot a lot of them. So, that's kind of concerning here for me, and they don't make them. So, kind of a pass. Drake Evansville. This is an interesting spot. I gotta tell you, I kind of like Evansville here. I looked at them for a minute. Not that many minutes, but minute. I was disappointed with the Walter McCarty news. Obviously, Walter did some things that he shouldn't be doing, and he got fired. And he's facing a Title IX investigation. I'm just really talking about on the court. I thought some of the things he was doing at Evansville were impressive. I really did. And I was disappointed to see some of the things that went on there. Obviously, he has to pay for the sins that he's committed. But, I think Evansville's been feeling it. You look at since he was kind of reported that he wouldn't be back, around the end of December, this team hasn't won. And it's been trouble. They've not been even close in these games. But what I am interested in is they brought in a new coach. And the game is in Evansville. Pretty good crowd generally. Indiana, great basketball state, as many of us know. And they, I think, are kind of worth it in kind of the rain has passed and let's kind of focus now. We've got a new regime here. It's going to be tough. It might not be the game to do it. Maybe you want to wait a game or two, but I guess if I'm skeptical here, just because I think some of these times when you get a new coach, generally you respond. And Drake, I mean, they're good. They're nothing special. They're not a great defensive team. I feel like if you're going to respond, why isn't it tonight for Evansville? But they're still without DeAndre Williams, who is probably their best player, so maybe not. Where's Incarnate Word? It's in San Antonio, Texas. It's actually not far from UTSA. I actually seen Incarnate Word. It's right off the highway. I don't know the interstates down there, but when I was in San Antonio for the Final Four, I actually saw Incarnate Word. It's a big school right off the highway. You can see it from the highway, actually. It is in San Antonio. Big man feeds my family. Well, thank you. You're very kind. Loyola Chicago cruises tonight. Yeah, I'm never really in the thought that Loyola Chicago is going to cruise ever. Because they don't really do that. They're not really built to cruise. They're a low volume as far as low paced group. Really good half court offense, which you always respect. Cameron Krutwig's terrific. Really like that kid. And this is a spot where Indiana State cannot guard in the half court. So I can see where you would say that. I've actually been kind of buying into this group lately, Loyola Chicago. I think they're kind of building this year. To me, if you ask me who's going to win this conference, I would go with them because I look at this team and I like their guard play. They're getting some good production out of out of Kennedy and Tate Hall and Lucas Williamson. Lucas Williamson's a great defender. Great defender. They're just a good, solid half court offense, and no one really can guard Krutwig. That's always kind of the issue. But yeah, I don't hate your pick here. I feel like if you can lay under double digits with Loyola Chicago, I think they're a nice play tonight. I definitely kind of buy in there with that one. Do I think they roll like you said? I mean, I don't think they're really built like that, but I think it's 7.5. I think they're a pretty good play tonight. Sure. Indiana State's had like the same players there for like 10 years. Like Tyreek Key and Jordan Barnes, it seems like they've been there for literally ever. Like I feel like back in 2008, I saw Tyreek Key in their lineup. It's crazy how long those guys have been there. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like Indiana State can win on the road. They have one road win all season, and it was an overtime win against Wright State. And I don't think Loudon Love played in that game, so not really a good avenue to win tonight. So yeah, I think Steve, you got a good play there. I would definitely co-sign it. Any thoughts on Loyola, Maryland? That's a touchy conference. I like American. I've kind of bought into that group, so I don't have any opinion. That's kind of a geographical battle as well, if there is one in the Patriot League. Washington, D.C. County, which is where Loyola, Maryland is. So it should be a fun one. Patriot League's tough. Is Arkansas going to win tonight? You must have missed that breakdown. Any thoughts on Houston Baptist over? I know it missed last game. I would not be betting it. I'd bet it every night. That's what an auto bet is. You just kind of stick with it. Would you take Vandy plus 10 at home? Everyone and their mother's on Alabama. Yeah, because I wouldn't have any interest in Vandy. What have they showed you that with Aaron Naismith they can score? Because it has been ugly to watch so far. And I've seen Vandy play. They're a bad defensive team. Bad. I think the only thing they're hoping for is that the possession lengths just kind of get drawn out and they can kind of help themselves where they don't have to defend so much. But if this turns into an Alabama game, they'll get run out. But I'm not real big on Alabama's defense, so I would lean over in this game. I think you're going to get a pretty good pace here. I think the problem that Vandy has now is they've kind of just gotten into this thing with this 4 games without Naismith where they have the ball and they just hold it to just. It seems like they're trying to like waste time. Really, that's kind of how I feel, and they're just trying to like find a shot that's not really working. So at some point, I feel like if you're Jerry Stackhouse, you have to just kind of go back to the way you were playing. Just attack. I mean, try to get to the line and do what they do. And tonight, if I'm Stackhouse tonight, I say, look, let's cut this shit out. Let's just go. Let's do what we do. If we give up 100, we give up 100. But I think this game kind of turns into a shit show where both these teams kind of just – we know Alabama's going to do that. That's what they do. I mean, they play up and down. That's Nate Oates' system. They literally play almost too fast. And Vanderbilt will oblige. They're not going to defend. They don't defend. I think your only knock coming into the game would be, well, Vanderbilt's not going to oblige, and they're going to slow things down here. But I think if you're Jerry Stackhouse, I've got to wonder at some point, this like prodding half-court crap and looking for the best shot, it's not really working. So, maybe in conference you want to change up the stripes a little bit. Do what you do best. Get to the free throw line. Just my 2 cents, but most people don't think I know basketball, so maybe they shouldn't listen to me. With the logic, why are you passing on Furman minus the points? Not really sure what you're talking about passing. Because I think both teams will score. That's why. And I don't trust Furman's defense. I think if you listen, you could have heard that, but doesn't seem like you were. What else do we have here? Thanks for watching, Chris Carter. Ryan Gupton. East Carolina plus 15. Yeah, you're not going to find me betting that game tonight. Actually, let me rephrase that. You're not going to find me betting East Carolina tonight. I would not have any interest in ECU tonight. I think they get destroyed. Let me tell you why. They're not real good. I mean, that's I hate to be obtuse, but they beat SMU 2 weeks ago, and I give them respect for doing it. I like Jaden Gardner a lot, but I think what that game did is it kind of showed ECU fans that maybe they're good and maybe they can hang, but they really can't. They just played really well in the second half and made 11 threes, which they don't normally do. They're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country. And you look at the last 5 games against SMU. They've lost by 28, 25, 19, 31, and 40 coming into that win. Moody Coliseum, tough place to go play. I think SMU gets some payback tonight. There's a reason this line's 15. Because nobody respects ECU in this spot. I like what Joe Dooley's doing there. As I said, I think Gardner's terrific. I think he's the best player in the conference, but I think Tim Jankovic is smart enough where he ain't going to and they're not going to make the threes they made the other night. Keep in mind, ECU's 335 in the country in three-point percentage. There's only 353 teams, so they're the 18th worst. Sometimes you get hot. They did against SMU, and they won. Do you fade Chicago State, Auto? No. And I'm sure as hell not laying 25.5 with Cal Baptist. I mean, sometimes you have to have principles here. Cal Baptist ain't getting – I'm not laying 25.5 with Cal Baptist. Give me a fucking break. Chicago State still has 5 players. But, yeah, I wouldn't be betting on the game. There's just some things you don't do, and laying 25.5 in conference in any conference isn't worth it, especially Cal Baptist, who just came into Division I last year. Like Dayton. I like Dayton. I do. I wouldn't lay 25 with them in conference, though. This is not something I don't care if they're playing Fordham or VCU. I just don't want to do it. All right, a lot of comments here. A lot of comments. Let's talk all of them here. Arkansas looks good. Okay, I'm going to take them. I don't agree with you. Thoughts on Cole Anthony? Should he return or sit out? He should never play another second. In fact, he should have already left. Do you have anything on Northern Iowa? No, I'm circling the game on Saturday with Loyola. I'm not worried about tonight's game. Crypto Capper, what's up? What else do we have here? Interesting game out in the Summit League. South Dakota State and North Dakota State. For anyone that's curious, this is a big-time kind of rivalry. South Dakota State lost their game over the weekend to South Dakota, their in-state rival. Gave up 99 points in that game, and Coach Eric Henderson wasn't exactly happy with the defensive performance. I thought they played great offensively. They just, couldn't get any stops. I'd expect it to whip around tonight, though. You look at South Dakota State, one of the best offensive teams in the country, 17th in field goal percentage, do a great job on offense. They've been terrific against the spread, 8-1 this year at home to the number. Let me tell you why this wasn't a play for me. And if you're able, and let's say you live in, I don't know, Pierre, South Dakota, I don't know, and you have info that Doug Wilson's playing tonight, then I would bet South Dakota State. If he's not, I didn't bet it. Doug Wilson's important to me. I heard through the grapevine with Henderson's comments that he was moving around on Saturday and that he wanted to play. But every kid wants to play. The line seems to be telling me subliminally that he's not playing. Sharp money's come in on the other side. And you're probably saying to me, okay, well, if he's not playing, why not take North Dakota State? Here's why I wouldn't take North Dakota State. 2 reasons. Eric Henderson, the coach at South Dakota State, coached under Dave Richmond, the coach at North Dakota State. These guys know each other well. And South Dakota State guys, keep this in the back of your head. They've won 45 of 46 in that building. That's pretty impressive. And I know most of those games were because of Mike Daum, but it's still a tough place to go. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that court, but it is. It's an impressive atmosphere. They love their basketball up in South Dakota. And in Brookings, it seems like one of those places where the entire town is at the game. It reminds me of that movie, Friday Night Lights, football movie, where every person in the town goes to the game on Friday night. That's what South Dakota State, that place seems like. It seems like there is fucking ugots to do but go to that game. Like, what the hell are you doing in South Dakota other than watching basketball? Well, you're going to watch high school basketball. That's all they do in South Dakota. All it does is snow and they watch basketball. That's what they do there. It's a great atmosphere. It's very tough to go there and win. Very tough. So it's actually a pretty interesting game. And I'm going to keep my eye on what happens here. But Doug Wilson, he's a good player for South Dakota State. Real good player. And, North Dakota State's lost 5 in a row to these guys. Plus, I got to tell you, I think North Dakota State has the best player in the conference in Tyson Ward. So it's a fascinating game. A lot of things going on here. But if Wilson's in there and plays, I actually like South Dakota State because I think the true line would be, South Dakota State minus 2.5. Big men on campus and ignore the idiots. No one's an idiot. Anyone that comes in here is willing to give their opinion. If it's negative or whatever, we'll still talk about it. Not many negative people come in here anymore just because there isn't really any reason to be negative. I just sit here and give you my thoughts. Like, there's really nothing to say that is negative. I'm having a winning season on my website. What's there to say bad? All I do is put effort into this shit. That's all I do. So I don't care as much anymore about people that are idiots or whatever you're saying. Thoughts on DePaul Creighton? Yeah, I think DePaul's kind of fallen into that. Everybody loves them tonight. And I don't hate them either. I think they're worth a look here. Creighton's really good, though. I don't bet them on the road, though. And I think DePaul really has to have this game. And I think it kind of reminds me of that Texas Tech game where Dave Lateo is going to have a great crowd there tonight. I like this lineup. I think that DePaul's lineup, from a starting 5 perspective, from an athlete standpoint, I think they're terrific. I love what they do starting 5. I think all 5 of these guys are fascinating. They have a water bug point guard, pretty diminutive. Paul Reed's terrific. Butts and Coleman Landis stretch the floor. Weems is just kind of that do-it-all guy. I just wish they had a little bit more bench. If they had a bench, I'd really like DePaul, actually. I think this is a big game for them if they want to get to the NCAA tournament. For me, you don't get a lot of opportunities at home to win games like this. And you look at the rest of the way, there's not a lot of quality games at home to win. In my opinion, if DePaul loses tonight, I don't think they get an at-large bid. I don't. You have to have this game. And you have some pretty good wins this year. You beat Texas Tech. You beat Minnesota and Iowa. But Creighton, I feel like, is on another level. They're on the Texas Tech level. And I feel like if you can beat this group tonight off the Butler win, I think the thing about DePaul that I worry about is, are they just enough? Like, are they kind of at the point where they're just, we beat Butler. Okay, cool. And they kind of, they don't, some teams are kind of just happy that they're there and they do something. So, like, some teams getting to the tournament, it's like, okay, we're here. But then they lose. And they were just happy to be there. I'm worried that DePaul is that, because it seems like every time they win a big game, they follow it up with a loss. Look at the Texas Tech game. Win that game. Then they lose at home to Buffalo. Buffalo ain't what they were the last couple of years. And then they go and they lose 4 in a row in conference. They got to win this game. They got to. I don't think there's any team in the country tonight that needs a bigger win than DePaul. I just don't. They have to have it. Unless they go on the road and, beat Creighton and beat some of these teams that they aren't necessarily going to be favored against. How long do I think San Diego State stays unbeaten? How long do I think they stay unbeaten? Would be surprised if they lose this weekend. It's tough in the next two games. New Mexico and UNLV, tough games. Um, but yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Um, Sports Keg, what's happening? All right, you. This guy's still on the same comment. This guy's so blown away that I don't like his Samford pick. Like, I don't care, bro. Like, then bet what you want. It's like you're looking for validation that I like your pick. You mentioned Sanford's inconsistency scoring, which is why you won't make a play on the over. But you say you have no issue with Furman getting to 90 points. Over under's 150. Yeah, because I think it could be like 90 to 84 or something. That's why I mentioned I like the over. Like, what do you not? Do you not listen? Are you not listening here? Turn up your fucking volumes, brother. Like, I can't keep explaining shit. You don't need my validation, bro. Go make the pick if you like it. You're like offended that I don't like your pick. Like, go bet it. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't do anything for me if you win or lose. Memphis rolls Tulsa tonight. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Memphis continues to have trouble at the point guard position. Turnovers have been a big problem for the Tigers. And on the road against a gutsy, tough Tulsa group, I'm not so sure. This, as you know, Ryan, you like ECU. I mean, every conference has those tough teams. They have a ton of them in this conference, whether it's South Florida or Tulsa or East Carolina or Tulane. Everybody's tough. And I'm not so sure Memphis rolls because in the half court, they are hard to watch. Irvine, Long Beach State, I don't have much. I don't bet Big West much. Does Iowa win tonight? I think they win, and I think they do cover, actually. Rutgers is ranked for the first time since the 70s. That's never a good market, especially on the road. Um, yeah, I think Iowa's a good pick tonight. Thoughts in East Carolina, already talked about it. All right, we'll do one or two more here. I messaged you on Twitter asking you if you need a screener for your podcast. What's the best way? Yeah, I'm pretty much good, bro, on that. I appreciate you reaching out, but I think we're good. I don't necessarily try to focus the show around calls just because, for whatever reason, we get a lot of great participation on all these shows, with chat boxes and stuff, but people just don't like calling in. I don't know why that is. I remember when Blackjack and I did the show, we always had a lot of calls, but on this show, it's really just been about the guests. So, I don't mind calls, but I don't necessarily want to build the show around it just because it's hard to forecast. Some nights, I remember when I first started, I had 5 or 6 or 7 calls a night, but generally now with the guests, I mean, we're having them on for 40, 45 minutes. Like tonight, I got 3-man weave on, and we have good conversations on basketball. The one guy that didn't vote for Jeter needs to be fucking slapped. You didn't say fucking. I said fucking slap. Yeah, I'm sure it was that fucking weasel Evan Drelich who works for the Boston Globe or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I mean, it's just someone that was probably Derek Price stole his girl at a club one night, and he's still offended 20 years later. That's the world now, man. That's the fucking shitty thing about social media is there's always somebody that has an opinion. Always. I've often said, like, you could cure cancer, and someone will bitch and whine because you didn't do it quick enough. Not, hey, or like, you might donate $1 million to help somebody, and some fuckhead will come in. Why the fuck didn't you donate $2 million? Nobody's ever happy with anything. It's just, and people like him, that guy that didn't vote for Jeter, just trying to be a fucking shyster. And it's weird because, like, I guess I could understand, like, if he did it for, like, press or something or promotion, but nobody knows who the fuck it was. Someone will find it. The internet's a weird place. Someone will find it, I'm sure. What else do we have here? You don't bet NBA right now. I do. I do it more on a personal level, though. Did I go over Western Carolina, Mercer? I don't have much in those two games. Big man, how come all your premiums are always Power Five and never mid majors? I feel like mid majors are always dialed, but you never post. Um, I have a method to my madness, Matt. Just relax, okay? We'll be okay. It's because a lot of the plays that I've been betting and winning on have been in Power Five. I mean, I bet the other night on a Gonzaga game. I've bet tonight. I don't have a Power Five game tonight. Um, for me, the method to my madness is I generally wait until February to go real deep into mid majors. And, I'm opening up more plays. I'm not a high volume guy. It's always kind of some of the same song and dance with certain people. They want 20 plays a night. Just not really my thing. I try to find one or two games that I can really bang on, and I rock with them. As far as why do I do Power Fives right now? Because a lot of the plays that I've found have been in the Power Five. I mean, I like certain spots of like where we're at with it. But yeah, tonight I don't have a Power Five tonight. Um, so yeah, I mean, I always also wonder like, what does it matter? I mean, if whether you're winning or losing, I guess like my thing is like on my website, I give out a certain amount of plays, and it's never going to be below that. You're always going to get at least that amount. And nowhere on the website does it say, "Hey, college plays are coming out, but they're only in the SWAC," or it's just wherever the value is, man. I don't think I bet on Duke once this year. I haven't bet on Kentucky or Kansas or I might bet Power Fives, but I'm always looking for the right spots. And I'm not saying that I won't bet, but I've talked before about the SWAC and me. Like I'll get into that stuff. I got to tell you, I just haven't really found a lot that has really wowed me. And when I give out a play on that site, I take a lot of pride into it. So, that to answer your question, that's kind of why. But keep in mind, it's only January 21st or 22nd. Yeah, we have 2 more months. We have conference tournaments, which you're going to get a lot there. So, yeah. Colorado State, Fresno thoughts. Um, yeah, I like Fresno. They've been unlucky this year. Rebound well. I have to feel like at some point they're going to put it all together. And Colorado State isn't the team that I really want to lay those kind of numbers with. All right, we'll do a few more minutes here. I'm really kind of done with the game breakdowns here. Any thoughts on Hartford? Yeah, I like Hartford. I've said that before. I love Tracy Carter and Malik Ellison. They're high-level Division I players that are playing at Hartford. They're better than most teams in this conference, and UMBC stinks. I like Hartford. I think they take care of business tonight. Sure. All right. Do I have any opinions on the Houston cheating allegations? Are we still talking about that? No, I don't. To be honest, I don't think my opinions are any different than anyone else's. I got to tell you, I don't care really at all. It doesn't. I'm getting to the point with sports where, and this might be sad because it is sad to me because I think as you get older, certain things about you change. I'm getting to the point with sports where I'm not done being a fan, but I'm not as it doesn't I'm not as it's not as important to me anymore. Obviously, what we do is not easy to be a fan, and I guess I just find that for me right now, the teams that I root for, they're to me they're not real likable. I don't like certain things about them, and I feel like a lot of it has to do with the organizations that I'm a fan of. I don't like the Sixers organization. I don't like their decision making, and I really haven't liked it since the Iverson years. So I mean, I'm kind of like I love the Sixers. I've loved the Sixers my whole life, but I don't like this current team and this current process crap. I don't like it. So for me, I like them, but I'm kind of I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to say because I love sports and I've always loved my teams, but it begins to be irritating with certain things because I don't think they're good enough to win the NBA title. And for me, I feel like if they're not good enough to do that, I don't care anymore because I don't care about going to the Eastern Conference semifinals or I don't care about going to the playoffs in the NFL. I want to win. And if my team can't win, plus I think as you get older, there's more important things in life than sports, and I kind of at this point find myself being more interested in other things. So, yeah. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you watching. People asking me about Seton Hall. I love Seton Hall long term. Tonight, I would probably bet them. If you gave me a free bet, but it wouldn't be a game that I would be, batting down the hatches to bet. What do I think about the Pelicans tonight with Zion Williamson returning? Yeah, I've been pretty standoffish in my thoughts on Zion Williamson. I think he'll struggle with weight his entire career. I think he is a kid that had a lot of stuff come at him quick, and I don't think he can shoot. I think that's pretty clear. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure ESPN will wank it the entire night about it, so we'll see plenty of that. Do I cap MLB? Yes, I do. Did you play any sports growing up? If so, what was your main one and what position? Yeah, I mean, many years ago when I was between the ages of 10 to 16, I played baseball. I pitched. I was actually decent. I had some decent, I was on some decent teams and that kind of thing. But the problem that I had in baseball was I could never hit the ball. I was more of a pitcher. It was tough for me to, and I'm not trying to be make excuses, but I had ADHD when I was a kid, and I don't know. It was hard for me to. It was just hard for me to focus, and I could hitting the ball was tough for me. I could hit it, but it wasn't I was more of kind of a pitcher type. But then I was very young. I was in fourth or fifth or sixth grade. It wasn't it was 25 years ago. So. And I did play basketball when I was a kid, up until I was 17, 18. Your guy, Donnie, has been hot. Good for him. That's great. When do you start capping MLB? It's right around the corner. Usually start in May. Are you surprised with how well the Jazz have looked the last 25 games? Am I surprised? No, I'm not. Because I think they're a terrific defensive team. And that's normal for Quinn Snyder's group. I love Gobert. Donovan Mitchell's a star. Mike Conley's added a nice piece to them. I like their bench. Ingles is a terrific shooter. No, I'm not surprised. Not at all. I think, one to say that I thought they were a top 4 team in the conference. I really like Bogdanovich. Him and Ingles are awesome. I like those two. Niang's played well for them. They're getting a lot of production from their young guys, which is what you need in the NBA. It's why you don't devalue second-round picks like some teams do around here. But I don't know. I just find myself with every team in the NBA thinking, damn, I wish my team was that team. I wish they were like that. I wish they cared about second-round picks and building teams. I wish they had a good bench. I wish they had good young players outside of 1 or 2 guys. And that's why I love Thibault. I mean, I was very high on the Thibault selection because I think he is a complete bear defensively. And he's the one, good pick they've made recently. So, yeah, I like the Jazz. It's a good call by you. Not a team I'd want to play in the playoffs. Orlando just has asked about 20 times about the Seton Hall game. I just said I don't have an opinion, bro. Richmond and LaSalle. No interest in Richmond without Blake Francis. He's been out. LaSalle seems like they're starting to become LaSalle again. All right, I'm out of here, guys. This is enough. I've kind of talked about a lot of games, and I've kind of given you my thoughts. If I had a free pick to throw out to you, I don't know. I don't really do that. Go get my pick at my website. That's my favorite pick tonight. But I guess if I had to throw a pick out, I like Mississippi State. They're playing good basketball right now, and I like the way this defense is playing and that sort of thing. So, all right. I will tell you guys now as we wrap up the show. I will not be here tomorrow, unfortunately. My girl's coming up, and we're going out for dinner, and I think we're going to the gun range, her and I. So won't be here. So I hate to do it, but it is what it is. So yeah, I won't be here tomorrow, but we'll be back here on Friday, going over the games. If you want to join me, you can find me at bmocwins.com. Come check me out. Come opine. But yeah, she's coming up late afternoon, so I won't be around. So yeah, don't expect the show tomorrow. All right, I'm out of here. You all have a great night. I appreciate you joining me. Cheers.